Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka DLauren33. I am back here today with a legit extra. You guys know from my YouTube community, you guys know I post this every single week. It's a bonus segment from the Legit Shoot podcast where I focus more on one specific topic and I go in for about 20 to 30 minutes. So make sure you guys have your cold beverage, have a snack, sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. Also, make sure to comment because you guys know I love talking to you guys in the comment section about everything that's going on with WWE. And also, for those that listen on Spotify, Apple, Google, this segment is exclusive to YouTube. So if you guys listen on those platforms, you guys want to be subscribed to my YouTube channel, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys get to listen to these bonus segments because I don't post this on the other platforms. But getting into it, we're going to be talking about Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair was announced today that she's going to be undergoing surgery, which is kind of shocking to me. I actually spoke a little bit to my my good friend Anthony, which you guys, if you guys are longtime listeners to the podcast, he was the guest host or the co-host of the podcast with me. He doesn't watch WWE as much as he used to because he doesn't like WWE creative, which I don't blame him. But we spoke about it a little bit, and we've been debating if this is really a true injury for Charlotte. Is this legit, or is this just a storyline to keep Charlotte off television, you know, going into SummerSlam? So we're going to discuss that, and we're going to talk a little bit about Sasha Banks versus Asuka and how that's going to lead to Sasha Banks versus Bayley. I talked about this a good amount on Monday Night Raw review, but I want to go into it a little bit more on today's podcast. So sit back, relax, let's get into it. So the way I'm going to start this off, you guys all remember when Becky Lynch first announced her pregnancy last month, right after Money in the Bank, when it was revealed that the winner of the Money in the Bank briefcase would become the new Raw Women's Champion, because Becky secretly behind the scenes had planned this all out with Paul Heyman, with WWE Creative. And you guys know I thought it was a great moment. Some people disagreed with the way Asuka won the belt. But let's be serious. If Lacey Evans or Nia Jax won the Money in the Bank briefcase, we would be having a completely different conversation right now. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves here. And I said, with Becky Lynch being gone, right, and Ronda Rousey's already gone, the six main figures of the women's division, the six big stars, the four horsewomen, Sasha, Bayley, Becky, and Charlotte, Asuka, and Ronda Rousey. Those are the six big names of WWE's women's division. If you want, I guess you can throw Alexa Bliss in there, but we all know Alexa Bliss is nowhere near the level, at least in the ring. She's nowhere near the level of those six names. Those are the big stars of WWE's women's divisions. They are the leaders. They're the ones that are usually carry the championships. They're in the big storylines, etc. And you guys know, and I hate when people say that the four horsewomen are overpushed, because the way Sasha's being pushed right now, Sasha has not been pushed like this since 2016, when she originally came up to the main roster from NXT. Remember back in 2015, 2016, when Sasha first came up, she was undefeated on the main roster for the better part of a year until she lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania. Yeah, Sasha's not been pushed like that since. So I don't like when people say that. Mainly, it's Charlotte. And you guys have heard me, bitch and rant about this 1,000 times. How Charlotte Flair is overpushed, And that's the fact. When Becky was Raw Women's Champion for a year, I didn't like Becky's title reign. I liked Becky Lynch. I was a fan of her, but I didn't like how she was booked as champion. She had become too political with me. She had lost that organic nature to her character that made us fall in love with her when she first became the man back in 2018. So when Becky first announced her pregnancy, I sat here and said, WWE needs to use this time. Asuka can be champion, that's the right decision, but use this time to elevate names like a Shayna Baszler, like a Bianca Belair, like a Liv Morgan, like a Ruby Riott. Elevate those names so when Ronda Rousey comes back, because Ronda will eventually come back, when Becky Lynch comes back after her pregnancy, they will have new names, new people to feud with. When they're back, it will have bigger stars in the women's division, and will have engaging storylines and characters that we're investing into. That's why I like how Sonya Deville is being built up on SmackDown. I believe personally that eventually, probably after the Sasha Banks and Bayley feud is over, I think Sonya Deville should be pushed into a world title feud against Sasha Banks. I think that would be a great way to end 2020 for the SmackDown Women's Division. Hopefully they go down that direction. Because clearly everything that's going on in the women's division right now, it's leading us to Sasha Banks and Bayley going into SummerSlam, unless plans change last minute. But here's the thing. WWE pissed us off, right? Remember, and you guys remember a couple weeks ago, when we had that triple threat match between Natalya, Nia Jax, and Charlotte Flair, and how I went off on how Charlotte, who was the NXT champion at the time, was going after the Raw Women's title, and then just a week later at In Your House takeover, Io Shirai becomes NXT Women's Champion, and then the next night Charlotte's facing Asuka again for the second time in 2 weeks, and then last night on Monday Night Raw we had Charlotte versus Asuka for the Raw Women's title. This is the problem. Instead of elevating Shayna Baszler, who we haven't seen since Money in the Bank, instead of elevating Bianca Belair, who we've barely seen since WrestleMania when she made her main roster debut, she's too busy on main event, having matches with Ruby Riott. Instead of teasing Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott becoming a tag team again, right? Which makes zero sense. You broke them up, now you're teasing bring them back together for what? For what? Instead of bringing those names on television, elevating them and making them big stars, you go back to your rinse and repeat formula. You bring back Charlotte. And now she's being put as a babyface again. And this leads us into the storyline today. Charlotte, it was announced Charlotte is going to be undergoing surgery. Could be out until the Royal Rumble. I don't know how much truth. Take this with a major grain of salt, people. I do not know how true this actually is. This is reported by Ryan Satin. You guys know I do not like Ryan Satin. But, most of the time, or I would say about 80% of the time, he's credible. Charlotte Flair is reportedly set, this is from Bleacher Report, Charlotte Flair is reportedly set to undergo surgery and will miss an extended period of time. As a result, according to Pro Wrestling Sheet's Ryan Satin. PW insider Mike Johnson's added the surgery is an elective procedure. So elective being Charlotte's the one that's assigned to have this procedure. They don't really state, what Charlotte's injury is. If you guys saw Monday Night Raw last night, they did have Nia Jax injure Charlotte's left arm. Charlotte did a terrible job of selling it. She was barely holding onto her arm. It made it look like she was faking the injury the entire time. It looked terrible. But the report doesn't state what Charlotte is having surgery on. But it says there's no timetable set for Flair's return. But Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Radio reported that there is hope Charlotte will be back in time for SummerSlam in August. While Alex McCarthy of TalkSport reported that Flair could be out until the Royal Rumble. WWE ran an injury angle involving Charlotte on Monday's episode of Raw, as she got into a tussle with Nia Jax and then lost a Raw Women's Championship match to Asuka. Following the loss, Charlotte was attacked backstage by Jax, who targeted the Queen's shoulder. WWE.com provided a storyline injury update on Flair on Monday night. WWE reported that Charlotte was being evaluated and added that she may have suffered a fractured collarbone. The 34-year-old Flair is the most decorated female competitor in WWE history. Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to read. The rest of this just goes into Charlotte's accomplishments. We don't care. We do not care. It goes to the end of the article. If Charlotte does miss an extended period of time, it will be a huge blow to the Raw Women's division, especially since Becky Lynch is already out of the picture due to her pregnancy. Asuka and Jax will likely continue to be the top stars in the women's division, but this will also open up the door for the likes of Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair to take on bigger roles, as they have been stuck on the sidelines recently. With both Charlotte and Lynch gone from WWE for now, the other 4 Horsewoman members in Bayley and Sasha are set to take center stage and carry the women's division along with Asuka for the foreseeable future. All right, so I would say there's about 2, maybe 3, but mainly 2 big things to take out of this article. 1, you're hearing from 3 different sources here. Me and my boy Anthony discussed this via text today. There's 3 different sources all reporting different timetables for Charlotte's return. If you guys saw Monday Night Raw, we saw Edge, and he cut an amazing promo on Randy Orton, talking about the return of the Rated R Superstar. And that told me and other people in the community that know WWE that Edge's triceps injury is not as bad as it was first reported. So maybe Edge could be back in time for SummerSlam. I do not know. But if you had Edge cut a promo on Randy Orton, that means that Edge could come back sooner rather than later. Dave Meltzer did report that Edge could come back 6 to 8 months from now around Royal Rumble time. But if Edge is on Monday Night Raw cutting promos, that has to mean the injury is not as bad as we all thought. And maybe Edge will work through the injury. We don't know. But here's the thing with Charlotte. You have Dave Meltzer reporting that WWE hopes Charlotte could be back before SummerSlam. You have these other people saying Charlotte could be out until the Royal Rumble. Me personally, I don't wish injury on anybody, but I hope Charlotte is gone until Royal Rumble. The Charlotte Flair fatigue is ridiculous. We are tired. We are sick and tired of seeing Charlotte Flair constantly pushed in the title scene. Since Charlotte Flair has been on the main roster, almost every pay-per-view, she's in a title match. We need a break. It's time to put some other names. Like I said, with Becky being gone, with Ronda being gone, with Charlotte being gone, this is your chance to actually elevate some other superstars. Like a Bianca Belair, a Shayna Baszler, and a Liv Morgan. People that could be the new stars of the women's division going into the future. Because one day, Sasha, Bayley, Becky, Charlotte, they're going to retire. It's not going to happen now. It might not happen 2 or 3 years from now because most of these superstars are still in the prime of their careers. But one day when Sasha and Bayley and Becky and Charlotte aren't the big names anymore, you're going to have these other names that are built up and ready to take on the flag and carry the women's division into the next era. And this is mainly because of Charlotte. Like I said, Sasha and Bayley, most of the time, they have not been pushed like they have been getting pushed as of late. Becky had a 1-year title reign, so Becky kind of had her moment in the sun. Even though Becky will definitely be pushed right back into the title picture once she comes back. But Charlotte, Charlotte's been in the title picture her entire career, and it's ridiculous. We don't need Charlotte Flair in the title scene. I hoped that Charlotte is gone to Royal Rumble because it actually forces WWE to push somebody else, right? And you could disagree with Sasha and Asuka taking place at Extreme Rules. Because yes, Sasha is a SmackDown superstar. And it seems like WWE is using the women's tag team titles to make it look like Sasha could be on any brand she wants and she can challenge for any title that she chooses, which we'll discuss a little more in just a couple moments. But I'll take Sasha versus Asuka, especially we've never seen Sasha versus Asuka for a world title. We've only seen Sasha versus Asuka once on the main roster, and it was one of the best women's matches of all of 2018 a couple years back. And now you tell me, even if Sasha's not going to beat Asuka at Extreme Rules, it's still going to be Match of the Year candidate if WWE gives it the time. It's going to be incredible. All right? And you guys really want to see Nia Jax versus Asuka again? Do you guys really want to see Charlotte versus Asuka again? Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that at all. But the thing about it is we need to wait and see how long Charlotte is actually going to be out. You had Ric Flair, and I said this on the Raw review. Ric Flair, when he was doing his segment for Randy Orton on Raw last night, he went into detail talking about, when Charlotte comes back, Nia Jax is going to pay for what she did. There was no need to have Ric Flair put over Charlotte's feud with Nia Jax. No. And the fact that WWE turned Charlotte back into a babyface makes zero sense to me. Last week you have Charlotte acting like a heel. The week before that you have Charlotte acting like a tweener. Now she's a babyface. Why? Because Becky's not there anymore? Really? I don't know. Remember, back in 2018, remember when it was supposed to be Becky Lynch versus Carmella at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's title? Becky had spent most of the summer beating everybody in the SmackDown Women's division, and everybody was hoping for Becky to get her big moment at SummerSlam. But then Charlotte, who was out for a couple months, I believe Ric Flair was in the hospital at the time, Charlotte comes back, and they made it a triple threat match. And everybody was pissed about it, including Becky. And it led to Charlotte winning the title at SummerSlam, and then Becky turning heel and becoming the man. and what was one of the best moments of the entire year. All right. That's what I'm afraid is going to happen. We know Sasha's not going to beat Asuka at Extreme Rules, even though it could be Match of the Year candidate. We know it's not going to happen because the bigger story is Sasha and Bayley. And like I said, we'll talk about that in just a second. But we need to wait and see what's going to happen. Because if Sasha's not going to beat Asuka at Extreme Rules, where does that lead Asuka for SummerSlam? Are we going to get Asuka versus Nia Jax again? No, what I think you should do, you bring back either Shayna Baszler or you bring back Bianca Belair. Bring both back. I would either take Asuka versus Shayna Baszler, Asuka versus Bianca Belair, or Asuka versus Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair in a triple threat match at SummerSlam. I think it should be one of those three matches. This is the perfect time to bring those names back to television. Perfect time. Nobody wants to see Nia Jax in the title picture. Until, SummerSlam comes and go, I'm going to be skeptical about it. If Charlotte's not at SummerSlam, if Charlotte does not have a match at SummerSlam, that's how you know that the injury is legit. If Charlotte is at SummerSlam, that's how you know it's more just for storyline. Like I said, Edge could come back and face Randy Orton at SummerSlam. I hope Charlotte's injury is real because not only does Charlotte get a break, so we finally take a break from Charlotte Flair and the fatigue that we've been feeling from her for the last 5 years, we can, ease off from it. And then when Charlotte comes back, hopefully there's other names that she can go up against that will actually make us invested. I don't want to see a Charlotte versus Nia Jax feud. You giving me Charlotte versus Asuka 3 times in the last month. I don't want to see that. So hopefully Charlotte's injury is real so that we can get her a break. Plus we can get a break from her character. And it actually forces WWE to build up some other names. You don't have Ronda Rousey, you don't have Becky Lynch, and now you don't have Charlotte. 3 of the 6 big names in your women's division. It forces you guys to push somebody else, which will actually do wonders for the women's division in the long run. All right, so now I'm going to move on to Sasha versus Asuka. I talked about this, for like the first 20 minutes of the Raw review last night. Go check it out if you guys haven't already. Sasha is going to face Asuka. And like I said, this has the chance to be Match of the Year candidate. But I think most of us will agree that there's probably like a 95% chance that Sasha's not going to win. It's going to be an amazing match. If Charlotte and Asuka can put on great matches every single week. Sasha and Asuka, in my opinion, are the 2 best women's superstars in the WWE Women's Division. They're the 2 best women's wrestlers in the world, in my opinion. And like I said, if their match on Raw was that good back in 2018, imagine what they're going to do at Extreme Rules. Plus, they're going to have a build behind it. They've already started building towards it last night with when Sasha attacked Asuka. It's going to be interesting to see how they build over the next 3 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if we get Bayley versus Asuka in a champion versus champion match sometime in the next couple weeks. I'm also thinking, I don't know, maybe Bayley does need a challenger for Extreme Rules. I don't know, maybe you can do something like Bayley versus Kairi Sane. I know it doesn't really make much sense, but hey, let's be honest here for a sec. WWE's women's divisions, there really is no divisions. All right, with this whole you can go to Raw or SmackDown if you're invited by the other show. If WWE wanted to, they could easily just have Kairi Sane be invited to SmackDown and have her challenge Bayley. It could be something cool. Or I would build up either Sonya Deville or Mandy Rose to go up against Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title. I would do one of those 2 things for Bayley, right? So clearly this is going to lead to the bigger story. Sasha versus Bayley. There is nobody really for Asuka to face right now because you haven't built anybody up. And that's WWE's fault. That is why with Charlotte gone now, Becky's not there, Ronda's not there, forces you, bring back Shayna, bring back Bianca Belair. Build these superstars up. In the short run, Sasha versus Asuka is going to be a damn good match. And everyone's going to be invested into it because everybody loves Sasha Banks and Asuka. All right? This is what's going to happen. It's clearly what's going to happen. Bayley's going to defend her title at Extreme Rules. She's going to successfully defend. She's going to successfully retain against whoever it is, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they have some kind of number 1 contenders match on SmackDown to determine Bayley's next challenger. It could be Dana Brooke for all we know. But Sasha versus Asuka, in my opinion, I think right now Sasha versus Asuka should be the main event for Extreme Rules. If you look at it, what else could be the main event for Extreme Rules? Strowman versus Bray Wyatt, you can make an argument for it, but there's rumors saying that's going to be a cinematic match. I would put that in the middle of the show, to be honest. All right. And Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler, don't make me laugh. All right. No match with Dolph Ziggler in 2020 is main event level. Even though McIntyre versus Ziggler is going to be a great match in itself, but no one believes Ziggler's taking the title off of McIntyre. I believe Sasha Banks and Asuka should be the main event of Extreme Rules, especially if they do what I think they're going to do. Sasha versus Asuka should be given 20 to 25 minutes, right? If you give them the time, it could be the best women's match of the year so far. And then what's going to happen is Bayley's going to come down. Sasha's going to be in control. If you guys remember, when Sasha Banks was going up against Lacey Evans, the qualifier for Money in the Bank back in the beginning of May, remember, Bayley cost Sasha the match. Sasha had the match won, but Bayley was distracting the referee, and then Sasha got mad at Bayley, like, stay out of this. This is none of your business. And then she ran into the loser's right and got pinned by Lacey Evans. If you look at it here, I can see something similar come into play, or they can do something different. Bayley's going to come down to the ring. She successfully retained her title. Now she's going to try to help Sasha become a double champ as well. Sasha's going to be in control of Asuka. Look like she almost has the victory, but then Bayley's going to get involved in some way. Then it's going to cause a distraction. Sasha's going to get mad at Bayley. And then Asuka's going to take advantage, maybe hit Sasha with a kick. All right, hopefully not the Asuka lock, but because I don't want to see Sasha tap out. But still, something's going to happen with that situation. Then Asuka's going to successfully retain, and then that's going to lead to Sasha and Bayley finally sprinting up. The cracks are going to be split. All right? We've been teased for months about Sasha and Bayley breaking up. We've seen hint here, hint there. You know, Bayley always accepting matches on Sasha's behalf without Sasha's permission, right? But this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Now Sasha just lost a world title match because of her best friend. She's going to lose a chance to become a double champion because of her best friend getting involved in her business. So now Sasha's going to be very angry with Bayley. And then if you want, I would build up. Maybe you build up Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. I don't know. Or I would build up an NXT tag team. Maybe have Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox. Have Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart have another match with Sasha and Bayley. Remember, that match on NXT last week was able to beat up Jericho's tag team match in the main event of AEW Dynamite. That's the power of Sasha and Bayley. What I would do is build up an NXT tag team, have them take the titles off of Sasha and Bayley. Now Sasha's so frustrated with Bayley because remember, Sasha has been winning all the matches for her and Bayley. Look at all of their matches the last 2 months when Sasha's been on this tremendous hot streak, right? Sasha's been winning all the matches with roll-ups, the bank statements, things of that nature. So now what I would do is when Sasha and Bayley lose the tag titles, I would have Bayley be the one to get pinned because Sasha's been the one winning all the matches. And then Sasha getting mad like, hey, I won all of our matches. I'm the one that got us all these opportunities. Not only did you cost me the Raw Women's Championship, but now you cost us the Tag Team Championships that you got pinned by. And now Sasha is so frustrated with Bayley. Their friendship splits up. That leads to Sasha and Bayley at SummerSlam, hopefully here in Boston. I have a ticket for SummerSlam. Hopefully, we can still get it in Boston. I'm praying that, it happens here in the Garden. If SummerSlam needs to get pushed back to September, I'm fine with that. As long as it gets to happen here at the TD Garden. But that's what leads to Sasha and Bayley in her hometown here in Boston for the SmackDown Women's Championship in the main event of SummerSlam. And what I would do with that, I would have Sasha get the victory, become the new SmackDown Women's Champion, and then at Clash of Champions in September or October, depending on what happens with the pay-per-view schedule, I would have Sasha versus Bayley happen again. I'd have Sasha versus Bayley happen again at Clash of Champions. But this time, if you guys remember, do you guys remember when John Cena was feuding with Ryback back in 2013 and they faced off at Extreme Rules? Remember how that match ended in a disqualification when Ryback sent Cena flying through the LED board? I would do something like that with Sasha and Bayley. Have them have a great match, but have the match end in some kind of fuck finish where both can't, answer the referee's count, and the match is just declared a draw, because I don't want Bayley winning the SmackDown Women's title again just for us to get another match. I don't think you need that. Sasha versus Bayley has the chance to be an Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano type feud. I would do something like have some kind of fuck finish happen at Clash of Champions. So then we get Sasha Banks versus Bayley happening for the third and final time at Hell in a Cell, inside Hell in a Cell, because the feud will definitely be worthy of it being a Hell in a Cell match. And then Sasha and Bayley give us another great match inside Hell in a Cell. The Hell in a Cell is Sasha's match, since he's been in every single Hell in a Cell match so far for the women's division. And then Sasha gets the win over Bayley, retains the SmackDown Women's title, ends her feud with Bayley, gets back those 2 losses she should have never lost. She should have never lost to Becky or Charlotte inside Hell in a Cell. Especially the Charlotte. She should have never lost that match inside of her hometown. But then now, Sasha retains over Bayley. She's the #1 babyface for the women's division. She's on a roll, and then you can move Sasha on to something like Sonya Deville. Right? But then after Hell in a Cell, I believe it's Survivor Series. So then, I don't know, maybe you give us Sasha versus Io Shirai or Sasha versus Rhea Ripley, depending on who's the NXT Women's Champion and the Raw Women's Champion at the time, right? And then at TLC, the last pay-per-view of the year, I would do something like Sasha versus Sonya Deville. Build Sonya Deville up into a megastar, somebody that can challenge Sasha Banks and give her competition ending 2020, entering 2021. And like I said, Sasha should hold that title for most of 2021. Give her a reign like you did for Becky. Give her a reign like you did for Bayley. Have her be the top star in the women's division. Have her actually win her first ever WrestleMania match. How about that? I basically just sat here and in like 10 minutes just booked how you should book WWE's women's division for the rest of the year. I just told you how to book the SmackDown Women's title for the rest of 2020. If somebody from WWE is watching this video, you should be paying me, bro. You should be paying me. I am that damn good at what I do. Come on. Anyway, like I said, Sasha versus Bayley. Sasha versus Asuka. That's going to be the big storyline in the women's division going forward. Sasha, Bayley, and Asuka are going to be your leaders of the women's division going forward. But during that time, while Charlotte and Becky and Ronda are gone, you need to be building up Sonya Deville, a Mandy Rose, a Liv Morgan, a Ruby Riott, a Shayna Baszler, a Bianca Belair. Build those superstars up. Also get the NXT Women's Division involved. Because like I've been saying on the podcast every single month. Every single week. Excuse me. Sasha and Bayley, as the Women's Tag Team Champions right now, have never made the Women's Tag Team Division look this good. 3 title defenses in a week. They defended the titles at Backlash. They defended the titles on NXT last week against Tegan Nox and Blackheart. And then they actually had a decent match with the Iconics last night. And if you can have a decent match with the Iconics, that just shows how great you are. Because you guys know how much Billie Kay sucks in the ring. I say it every single week. She is awful in the ring. Do not take those titles off of Sasha Banks and Bayley until you are ready to pull the trigger on the Sasha Banks and Bayley feud, which hopefully will be set for Extreme Rules. So hopefully, if somebody from WWE is watching this, please listen to me. I'm telling you, man, if you want to make the women's division great for the rest of the year, this is how you gotta do it. Charlotte Flair being injured is not a curse. It is a blessing. It is a blessing for the women's division because it forces you to elevate new stars. You wanted so badly for Charlotte to replace Becky now that Becky is out and pregnant. But now Charlotte's injured. And hopefully the injury is legit. I do not want to see Charlotte at SummerSlam at all. And I know you guys don't want to see her at SummerSlam either. Use Charlotte Flair's injury to elevate the women's division so Charlotte actually has something we can be invested into when she comes back. I keep saying the same thing because it's truth. And you guys need to know the truth. Sasha versus Asuka is the short-term solution, and it has match of the year written all over it. If Sasha and Asuka get the time at Extreme Rules, it should be the main event, in my opinion. But like I said, WWE has to do this right. It has to do this right. Follow my suggestion, please. All right. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. I went about 30 minutes, which I knew I was going to do because you guys know how passionate I am about women's wrestling. So that's about it for today's podcast, a legit extra. Hopefully, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like on the video. It helps pushes the video into the YouTube algorithm. Also, subscribe and enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Also, go check out the Monday Night Raw review and my video about Sasha Banks and Sammy Guevara. I'll try to leave a template or an end screen at the end of this video right around here. So hopefully you guys go check that out. Other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you guys later. Stay safe and healthy. Peace.